Welcome everyone, it's Relic Dirty Hands. I am here to bring you the best dig tips that we have had on Relic News. I really hope that this compilation video will help some of you that are beginning out in the hobby. So sit back, relax, and enjoy these amazing tips from amazing metal detectorists out there.
Everybody, welcome to DigTips for this week. My name is Dave Wise. Today's tip will be don't get frustrated when you're detecting. You need to have patience, persistence, and a lot of these sites that me and Todd Hiltz hunt are heavily infested with iron nails, these colonial cellar holes, and the key is to just slow down, listen for the high tones in the iron, because there's tons of great targets being masked by all the iron around these cellar holes. I could show you just one of many finds that was just a small bleep of a high tone coming through the iron. This is a late 1800s New York City trolley car conductor badge, hat badge, which was just being masked by all the iron. I'm glad I was going slow and I was able to recover this piece of history that would have been lost forever probably. So, I see a lot of new guys that they get all excited and buy a machine, and then they don't seem to find anything because they don't have the patience or persistence to stick with it. So that's the key: is slow down, be patient and persistent. And it's not all treasure. There's a lot of trash that you got to dig. So that's this week's dig tip. Be safe out there. I hope everybody has a nice holiday coming up and a joyous new year. Thanks. Bye.
And this is Todd Hill, and today for this week's dig tip of the week, I want to talk about hunting a site in more than one way. And what I mean by that is, after hunting a particular site in your normal hunting mode, try going back over that area again, but this time hunt it in a different mode. And what I usually do, what I like to do, is I'll switch to an all metal mode with no discrimination at all. And what that normally does is that this is going to allow the machine to completely open up, and it's going to allow you to hear those targets that normally are going to be masked by trash, or in our case, when Dave and I usually hunt, we're hunting in iron infested areas. So it allows it to hear those targets that are normally masked by that iron. Now, hunting in a mode with no discrimination at all and all metal, it could be one of the most difficult ways to hunt, but for me, it's been one of the most rewarding ways to hunt. But I promise you, if you give this a shot, you're going to be shocked at what you find and what you didn't hear the first time you went over to the site. So there you have it. That's this week's dig tip of the week.
Hello, my name's Jeff from Treasure Packs, and I have a quick tip for you today. Whether you're a beginner or whether you've been in metal detecting for a number of years, I'd like to talk about how we swing our coils. When we're fatigued, we're getting tired, and we're not paying attention, we tend to let our coils swing up in the front, thus we're losing some targets in the ground. Take time to flatten your coil so you're flat with the ground and you also get better depth. I would also like to point out that we should slow our swings down and overlap those swings and not swing wildly. This will cause us to lose to small objects. So this is just a quick tip. I found myself guilty of this, and I just thought maybe I'd point it out. I'm sure that most of us have this in mind, but it's just to remind us. Happy hunting, everyone, and hello to all my friends out there.
Now here we go. I'll hand it over for Brandon for this week's dig tip of the week.
Hey guys, Dr. Tones here from Dirt Fishing America. Today's metal detecting tip comes straight out of my new book, The Metal Detecting Bible. When you're going up to knock on a door to try and gain permission, leave your digging clothes, your digging apparel at home. You want to dress nice, but not overly nice. You don't want to look like a bum, and you don't want to be wearing a tuxedo either. So basically just look like a normal, average human being. Leave your metal detector in the car. Don't bring it. Don't even set it somewhere where it's visible. Don't hold anything in your hands that looks like you're selling something. Leave your hands out of your pockets and keep them to your sides. Don't put them behind you. That kind of gives people the impression that you're maybe hiding something from them. When you knock on the door, take 2 giant steps backwards. People like their space, you know. I don't like to open up the door and have someone this far away from me, so give them their space. Pay attention to what you're seeing in the yard on the way up to the door. Look at the type of car that they drive. Look at their license plates, bumper stickers. You know, maybe they're a Raiders fan. Maybe they're the only Raiders fan. And you know, what you're trying to do is establish trust with these people as soon as they open the door. The faster you can establish that bond, the faster you're going to get permission. And I guarantee you, if you follow some of these simple tricks, your permissions are going to increase tenfold. Thanks. Back to you.
Hi friends, so here is our dig tip, and it is, whichever machine you're using, and it totally doesn't matter if your detector costs $200 or $500 or $1,000 or more, it doesn't matter. But what matters is getting to know it really, really well. Every single sound it makes, every little nuance, get to know it, become one with it. No matter what price range of machine you're hunting with, as long as you know that machine really, really well, you will find treasures. I, for example, speak fluent Vixen. Good luck, everybody. Happy New Year and happy hunting.
Kind of, what would be your dig tip to people that are exploring a new ghost town or a new cellar site for the very first time?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of different things that you can look for. Basically, Laurie, what we do is we look for anything out of the ordinary. But if, in fact, we are going to go to a new area, we still use the same techniques that we used to use years ago. And basically, we're looking for out of the ordinary things, something that jumps out at you that shouldn't be there. For instance, here in the east where I live, if you're driving down the road, you see a patch of pine trees, and then all of a sudden there's this one big old maple tree in the middle, just pops up out of nowhere. That gets our heart rate up just a little bit. Maple trees, especially if there's one, they don't just all of a sudden pop up and start growing. If somebody had to have planted that. So what we do is we'll get out. Now, if it's private property, before we go any further, we've got to get permission from the property. If, in fact, we can go back, we've got permission, when we see that old maple tree, we will start looking for things like depressions in the ground, maybe bits of pottery, small pieces of pottery shards, or broken pieces of glass. Because if we can find these things, now that tells us that there was, at one time, maybe a cellar hole or a ghost town in the area. Somebody planted that tree, and we want to know who it was. Now, if we don't find things like pottery shards or pieces of glass, we'll look for what is called the plant myrtle. It's a low-growing, green, 4-leaf ground cover. It only grows maybe 3 to 4 inches off the top of the ground. Now, years ago, when the first settlers came over to this country, when they settled, they used periwinkle or myrtle as ground cover. And they used it for 2 reasons. The main reason was they wanted to stop erosion around the property. You know, once they built these holes, the cellars were so deep into the ground, they wanted to make sure, especially if it was a wet area, that the sides did not cave in from erosion. So what they would do was plant periwinkle around the cellar. Once you plant it, it just grows fast. Then we know we've got something in the area that we hopefully it's a cellar hole, hopefully it's an old ghost house. Things like that.
Okay, so what's your dig tip, Charlie?
Well, as my dig tip would be, I would follow suit with my outlook on this hobby. It's not about the finds, it's about the friends, it's about the good times. And I would just say to people, whether you're new at the hobby or you've been in it a long time, just be good to each other. share what you've learned, share what you know with other people, because when it comes down to it, that's all that matters in the end. Well, because as we all know, there's too much bad stuff going on in this hobby. A lot of people aren't good to each other, and that ain't cool. So, bottom line, just be good to each other.
That's the end of our video. I really hope that some of these tips and tricks will help you out. Now, if you enjoyed this video, take a look at some of our do-it-yourself display cases, some Relic News interviews, or some of our previous digging videos. So I really hope you enjoyed and subscribed, and we'll see you next time.